Complicated problems sometimes require complicated bills. I should say, complicated problems always require complicated bills. The bill that we passed a bit earlier, as I mentioned, was one of what I hope to be a package of bills to address the concerns around lead poisoning in children. The bill that we have before us now is part of what I hope to be many bills, since it was a bigger and more complicated bill, but it got split up to deal with patient medical debt. I'll take a second to actually both recognize and thank Senator Kevin Thomas, who just yesterday passed a bill, Madam President, that relates specifically to consumer debt, but more broadly, because it is consumer debt, includes medical debt. And this was one of the parts of the bill, of the big bill, that we thought, rightly, that Senator Thomas covered in his bill, and therefore we said, you go ahead with that, brother, and we'll support you on that one. But there are a couple of other things related to medical debt that we need to deal with, and the bill that is before us deals with something called the facility fee. And simply put, this is something that sometimes slips into a bill without our knowledge, and all of a sudden we have to, when we go for all sorts of procedures, we might be actually in a hospital, we might be just getting treated for something relatively minor, and those facility fees actually show up. So this bill would actually change, eliminate a loophole in state law that currently just results in surprise expenses for so many folks around the state. And this is, as I said, one of the hopefully many bills that we will pass to deal with medical debt. So it is certainly an important bill for that reason. There's just one more thing that I wanted to underline, Madam President. So I've spent the last couple of days, thankfully, coming to the floor and explaining some of the bills that I've been passing that have been, a lot of folks have worked a lot of hard hours to make sure that they happen, and I've been mentioning some of my staff. This one is particularly special, because it actually was part of the large project of dealing with medical debt. Was actually something that a former staffer was working on. And it was something that she was working on before she passed away from corona in December of last year. A woman who I've spoken about on this floor before, who has served the Senate for many, many years, that was Kristen Sinclair. This was the final project that she was working on, this big, beautiful, and complicated bill dealing with something that is really a scourge to folks here in New York State, which is medical debt. We will hopefully pass many more bills dealing with this issue because it is not resolved yet. But I wanted to make sure that as we pass this first bill today, Madam President, that I not only thank the Community Service Society who brought it to our attention, but specifically to point out that her work and her legacy lives on, and that the work that she did consistently to serve New Yorkers is carried on, not only by myself, but by the rest of my staff as well. I will thank Michaela Paniccia, who is my committee director now, and who was essential in figuring out how to work all these different pieces. So I will thank her as well on the record. So, Madam President, this is something that not only deals with medical debt, but more importantly is what I hope to be a first of many bills to continue to talk about Kristen's legacy of serving New Yorkers. And I'm incredibly happy and proud to vote in the affirmative right now. Thank you, Madam President.